Alrighty, here we are in HitFilm 4 Express, my choice compositor for this effect. I've put my portal video in here, and I'm just going to walk through how to add a portal opening to it, which is very similar to how I did in the forest, so the tutorial is pretty much the same. So unfortunately this video is shaky, so we're going to have to do some tracking, which is what we also did for the other forest one because the camera actually moved to the portal as it was opening. So we have to track this, and then we have to add our portal, and then we have to add any details that we want. So to start off, if we just were to go into our effects and go portal, we have a dimensional rift, which is their preset portal effect. Now if you were to just take this and drag it onto here, you could finick around with this and make it look sort of good, but the only issue is you don't have a lot of customability if you just do that. So what I'm going to do, and what I did for this, is I added a new layer, a plane, and we're just going to call this portal host, because this is where we're actually going to take and drag our portal effect. But now of course you can't see your video in the background. So what I'm going to do is go up here and go to compositing mode, just to make it a little easier for me to adjust the settings here. And in our layer properties, I'm going to change this to 3D, and it's going to ask if you want a camera, say yes, and then blend, you go to add, and then it will bring up a portal, or you could do subtract, flip your colors, color burn. There's lots of different options here. So this is one way to do it if you want your portal to change color or be customized or whatever. But the simpler way to do it is go to the wall image here in the dimension rift and change that to your portal video. Because then that does it in the effect of the portal, and then you don't get some transparency or change colors or whatever. And you can always mess with that later. So now you have your portal effect where you want it, but now we can take the 3D element that we've turned on here and open up our transform, and this gives us all sorts of different options to rotate this, and then you can actually see that it is 3D because we have the 3D setting on, which is fantastic. So I'm going to adjust the scale here and the position with these arrows, and I'm just going to line up the portal effect where I want it. And this little thing right here we can turn off, which means that we can move the scale independently, which is how I was able to go like this per se and adjust the portal effect to the exact size of the rift that I wanted in the exact dimensions and everything. So that's how to position your portal. But now if we were to move this at all, you can see it gets all wonky and it just stays in the middle of the screen. But we want it to actually follow this portal, and so that's where tracking comes in. So to track, all you gotta do is open up your main video, go to tracks, and hit this plus icon, which now it's taken away all your portal effects, so you can just focus on this. And then you get these little boxes and things, which I can never seem to do, so I'm going to open this up. So you find just 2 points anywhere that you think would be good to track. So I'm going to track the tip of this, and the red box is what it's tracking, and the green box is where to look for it. So that'll give us a good reference point so it knows how it's moving. But because this is a handheld shot, there's a little bit of rotation in there. So I'm going to change this to double points and then track something else, which in this case for me is going to be the tip of this crystal ball right here. I find that things that stand out a little bit from the background are easier for the software to track. And then you keep it on optical flow, and then you just hit the play button, and it will track and keep those points together. And so this will give you reference points, so it knows how to keep the portal in one spot. So we'll just let this finish up here, and once it does, it's a fairly simple shot, just a little bit of shaky cam, so it shouldn't be too difficult for it. And there we go, it is finished now. Okay, so now we have this here. Make sure to check rotation, and then you leave this as none, and then you go and add a new layer once again, and we're going to add a point. The name doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to leave it as new point. And then we can go back to our tracker data and put this on our new point, and then hit apply. And now this is attached to our new point. And then we can go ahead to our portal host video and parent that to our new point, which basically links them up together. And now you can see that your portal stays roughly in the area that you want it. You might need to do some slight adjusting to get it exactly where you want it at the beginning of the video. And then as you play through your video, you'll notice that your portal stays exactly where you want it. Now that's all fine and dandy, but you just have a portal sitting here, right? You want to actually make a portal that opens up. So that's when we go back to our portal host video, open up our dimensional rift, go back to our controls here, and this is where you can mess with all the fun options, even this cool distort here that just comes with the program. And this program is free, so it's a good beginner program before you get into something like After Effects. The first thing I want to do here is change my colors because the blue default just doesn't really fit with what I was going for here. So I'm going to do my nice dark purple here, and then an even darker purple for the little blobs that pop out when it opens. And now this isn't the exact same color that was used on the portal effect in the forest, but I feel like having a similar enough one gives the illusion that there's a different light on the portal. So now this is when it starts to get a little bit complicated. First, I'm going to turn up my scale just a tad, just for personal preference here. There we go. And now we have our rotations and everything set here, but we don't have an opening portal, and that's where keyframes come in. These little circles right here are our keyframes, so if we want at the beginning of the video, we want the portal to be closed. So we click on this, we drag this all the way down. And then here, we also want it all the way down. And then when we get to about here, I want the portal to open up. And now we have, if we go and play through our video, we have a video that starts off with our portal closed, and then, boom, the portal opens up. And now once we have it open, we want to turn on our connection here, and this connects it from this world to whatever world or other point in time you want your portal to connect to. So now we have this exploding here. What I'm actually going to do is going to go into the material here, and I'm going to make sure that it casts shadows. Just a personal preference, you can leave that off if you want, but I want shadow, a little bit of shadow to be cast here. Alright, and now if we go into all these options here, this is where you can totally, completely change everything. So our view here, our image, is currently set to none, which means that it will just show a blank thing here. But if we go to our media here, and I go to... Alright, now this is the video that I've chosen here. For the other side of my portal, I put the camera on the tripod and lifted it up really high in order to make this effect that the portal was here. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go image, drag this onto our timeline first of all. But we want this below everything else. There we go. So it's not interfering with the rest of our video. But even though it's not interfering with the rest of our video, just in case, we can turn off this. And then even if it's up here at the top, which I'm going to do right here, even though if it's up at the very top, it's still invisible because we've turned off this. But even though it's invisible, we still have the option to interact with it. For here, image, we're going to set it to our new video that we just put in. And then after this portal opens, it reveals the forest, which is a pretty cool detail, just to help sell the fact that your portal is actually going somewhere. And you could leave your portal like this if you wanted, and it looks great. But what I like to do for a little bit of added detail is take these orange ring videos that I've found, which are like flaming rings, and I like to put these in here like this, and then we go into our layer properties, make it 3D, parent it to the portal host, and then make the blend. Add would just make your video transparent. But if I did subtract here, which changes the color to a nice purple blue. And so now this is linked up with our video. But we don't want it to actually appear until our portal has opened. Unless that's a style that you're going for, and in this case I don't think I want that. So now that it's parented to this, all we need to do is adjust the size and everything and just line it up with this. And now we have ourselves a little bit of added detail to our portal effect that just makes it that much cooler. It just adds a little bit extra to really show that you have customized this portal effect and it's not just a default. And then this orange outside ring, I do the same thing. I put this on top, make it 3D, parent it to the portal host, which you can do all from right there. And then you just go into your transform, and your layer properties are the only two that you need. Change this from blend to subtract in my case, and then adjust your scale and positioning as necessary to really sell the effect and just give your portal a unique look. And that's about it, unless you have it where these video clips are too short and they run out, and then you can just duplicate them and drag them over, and then the video just continues. So that's about it for the customizing that I did, and you can customize it as much as you want, as far as you want, and you can really make a lot of cool customized effects with just this basic version. And so that's my tutorial on how to make a really cool dimensional portal with a simple free program that just takes a little bit of learning and also gets you set for moving on to later videos.